Good evening.
And welcome to Karl Marx Does the Washing Up.
I'm Shy Telly.
And I'm Ilyas and Shy.
So today I wanted to discuss with you this Tibetan monk who sadly passed away recently. Actually, he wasn't the nicest guy. I think he was accused of some sexual harassment, actually. But let's...
Accused?
I think it was pretty cut and dry, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't seem the nicest man, but he did have a very interesting concept that I wanted to run by you. If we obviously stick to the metaphysical and not talk too much about him as a person. So, are you ready? It's from the Tibetan book of Living and Dying, and the quote is, "So our state of mind at the time of death can influence the quality of our next rebirth." And his theory was that in spite of the great variety of karmas we've accumulated during our life, if we make a special effort to generate a virtuous state of mind at the time of death, we'll activate a greater karma and bring about a happy rebirth. So his point was almost that everything that you do in your life doesn't actually matter if at the state of death you can create a state of being that's happy enough or virtuous enough, and then that will be the governing aspect in your rebirth. Not all the karma you accumulated in your lifetime.
Wait, so that it offsets it completely?
It offsets it completely.
Is that what he said? Okay.
Do you want me to read out the quote again?
No, it's fine, but that I'll trust your interpretation of it.
I can read it again. Let me read it again.
Yeah, but it also doesn't... Yeah.
Okay. So at the moment of death, in spite of the great variety of karmas we have accumulated in our lifetime, if we make a special effort to generate a virtuous state of mind, we may activate a virtuous karma and bring about a happy rebirth.
Okay, shit. That works the opposite way. If you have if you've had great karma throughout your whole life,
but then have a negative
moment in death, so that offsets all of it. So you
so it offsets all of it, and then you're likely to have a poor rebirth.
Okay, so this is just maybe a way of him getting over his sexual harassment.
But then that also maybe does explain the sexual harassment cases, because
there's no point in being a good person.
There's no point in being a good person, exactly. If at the moment of death you can activate a special karma that governs your next rebirth.
But so maybe the way to see it is that actually the whole of life, you need to become a good person in your life, but that's because the whole of life is a dress rehearsal for the moment of birth, right? So you're just cultivating. It's very hard to be a virtuous person at the last moment in your life if you haven't cultivated any virtue.
Exactly, I completely agree with that. But also what about sudden death? It's very hard It's really hard to have a beautiful moment before sudden death.
That's true.
Right? Because you have to be almost in a virtuous state of mind.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time, right? Yeah. So I think that's probably the flaw in that. I think to do that, you've got to have quite a peaceful, long life, and to know when you're going to die, which I don't think many of us do.
Yeah, knowing... Well, yeah.
But actually, that is an argument that's pro-euthanasia. If I could govern what I was going to be in my next life, then it might make sense for me to choose a time to die in this life, and I can focus on being the happiest in that moment, and then that would lead to a high quality.
But is there physiology involved? Is there a kind of trauma that comes from the, let's say euthanasia using a chemical-induced death? Does that affect the afterlife?
Well, there is that theory, isn't there, that at the moment before death, there is this euphoric outpouring in your being. I don't know how true that is, but there is this concept, isn't there, that, at the moment before death, you do go into a state of euphoria. After shock does come in a state of euphoria. And maybe that does lead to a high-quality rebirth. Because in a euphoric state of mind, you are happy.
Yeah, but you're saying that comes with all death, no?
Yeah, but that's a theory that it does come with all death, but I don't know how true that is, obviously, because we don't know. Yeah, exactly. None of us have died enough to know.
Well, yeah, I guess the near-death experiences do talk of euphoric experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, but they do talk about the light. Yeah,
the joy.
But then also, how much of that is governed by
narrative?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think this is interesting, but it also maybe explains why people towards the end of their life begin to start praying and look for God and all that kind of stuff.
Because they're trying to have a virtuous death, right?
When they get closer to death, then they're like, well, maybe I should start being connected with God, virtue, reflection. But
it also comes down to what you think a high quality rebirth is. Because, it doesn't necessarily mean you're a human, right? Rebirth could be...
extra placenta or something.
Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. And you could be a plant or something. But it depends what you think high quality is.
Well, I guess I don't think that's necessary. Like, you don't need to decide, like, what constitutes high quality.
No, but his theory is obviously like it's like
but there's
the flaw in the theory is it doesn't actually explain what high quality rebirth means.
I don't think that's really much of a flaw, because it could just mean like
It's such an open-ended statement.
Yeah, because you're maybe not in control of the quality that is determined. It's not like,
No, but he is saying that you are in control of the quality if you have a virtuous death. If you have that moment before death.
Yeah, but not the aesthetics of the quality, not the minutiae of it, just the quality of the quality, right? So, like, if there was a God or there's a universal force that determines
and if there is rebirth,
or it maybe knows your internal wanting or whatever, it will orchestrate the rebirth or that new life that fits, right? Wait, you're talking about the afterlife being
No, I'm
beneficial, or
talking
just
about
the birth?
the rebirth.
So you're only talking about the moment of birthing. You're not talking about the whole afterlife or that next life. Your next life is
The rebirth. I'm not talking about the afterlife, I'm talking about the next life.
so this is not such a big deal. Your death is going to affect your birth, but not the rest of that life.
Yeah, but what? It's going to affect all of your life. If you have a good, high-quality rebirth, that's like everything in your next life.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, but that's a different point.
Yeah, but what we're... No, but what...
but it only affects the next life through the cause and effect of the rebirth. It doesn't affect it by its just general nature.
No, exactly. Only through the rebirth. But what it's kind of...
does your karma still... Your karma still affects the general quality of your next life.
Yeah, but that's what he's kind of saying, that you can offset all the karma in your life if you have that moment before death. And then when you start your next life, maybe it's new karma.
Okay, and then everything just expands from the birth.
Yeah.
So there's no kind of...
Yeah, so maybe that's kind of saying that karma doesn't actually transfer between lifetimes. Only between death and birth does it transfer.
No, but it says even then it doesn't.
Yeah, but it
Because
does.
it's offset by how you die.
Yeah, but that moment leads to your rebirth.
Yeah, that moment leads to your rebirth, and it offsets the karma.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So then there's nothing taken over after the rebirth.
Yeah, so karma doesn't really exist.
In the way that we see it?
Yeah,
no.
I mean, karma exists only within individual lifetimes.
Within one lifetime, yeah.
Within one lifetime.
Yeah. But also, that kind of is saying that we can be dicks as long as we have that moment before death.
Yeah. No, well, yeah. Okay, fine. But maybe we're like... no, but then if karma works in its own way within the lifetime, then we will feel the backlash of our actions but within that life.
Yeah. No, and also it comes down to what you said, like, the only way to have a virtuous death is to actually be virtuous during your life. Because you do kind of have to be thinking about it most.
But you can still be a genuinely virtuous person and then, like...
have a terrible death.
Yeah. Like, you throw, like, coffee at somebody in Starbucks because you got, like, furious at them, and then you have a heart attack and die. Right?
But you can also just have a heart attack and die without having that coffee moment, and it still could be a terrible death.
No, but you could be in a state of peace and virtue. Right?
Yeah. No, like, yeah, you could be... But you could also just as easily not be in a state of peace and virtue.
Yeah. I mean, like, more likely.
Yeah, but anyway, before we get caught up in like the logistics of this thing, so if we take this theory as truth, how do you think that you died in your previous life?
How do I think I died in my previous life?
Yeah, based on the quality of your rebirth in this life, how do you think that you died in your previous life? If we take this theory as true.
Suffocated by an octopus.
Suffocated by an octopus. But is that a happy death? Is that a virtuous death? Or is that a negative death?
I think it's like, maybe so. Yeah, I guess. Sort of feels like my head is a little dislocated from my body.
Yeah.
I'm quite fluid, wobbling around in an ocean.
So wait, you think you were an octopus in the previous life? Is that what you're saying?
No. I was strangled by an octopus.
Were you a human?
Oh shit, that changes things.
Yeah, exactly. Also, that's not what I'm asking. I'm like, what was your state of mind?
What was my state of mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really care about how you died. What was the state of mind?
Get me out of here?
Yeah? Yeah, but and obviously that's the state of mind that you're born with. Like, get me out of here.
Get me out of here. Like, that's the sort of uterial, is that a word? the uterus imperative.
Yeah, get me out of here, right?
Get me out of here, yeah.
Yeah.
I was probably in a state of mind of like I think like squirrels. Basically, I was in the general state of mind of a squirrel.
What do you mean, like chaos? And then all of a sudden stop, and then chaos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like how squirrels have this ability to meditate really powerfully, but
really
only for 3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then they shift in this fickle way.
Yeah.
I think my spirit animal is a squirrel, and I think I was born with that in that mentality. Like
So the state of mind of your death.
The moment between that intense, passionate sex and then the bliss of the orgasm. Right?
Yeah.
Where it's like both of these things at once. I have
no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, well, we're both abstinent, but like that wanting and that achieving both at once, but never really like fully in
either state of mind. So that was the state of mind that you died in.
Yeah. I feel like I'm a really content person. Yeah.
Oh, so
in this life, I feel like I'm a very content person, but also quite uncontented with that contentment.
I mean, this answer is nonsense because it's chaos, right?
It's yeah, but that's exactly it. It's true to my life. This podcast, this point, the way in which I'm making this point is just proving it further and further.
That you're just content and uncontent.
Yeah, exactly.
At the same time.
Yeah,
and then your death,
chaos.
Your state of mind at death was contentment and uncontentment.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I was both in and out of the life that I was in.
Right. So, right. You're both... But at no point were you... Yeah, exactly. No point were you actually in and out of it.
Yeah, I think... Yeah. But I think that also reflects, like... you've been saying, well, why has your poetry and everything got so much death in it now? And that's... I think it's because I've always had one foot in the afterlife.
You've always been in and out of life.
I've always been in and out of life, and I think that's how I died.
No, but I get it. That's like you preparing maybe for your rebirth, because you don't want to go through this life again. You don't want to be content and uncontent again.
Yeah, but I don't know how I'm gonna what my state of being will be. Well, I think a lot of the things that I'm trying to do, and quite fruitlessly at the minute, is actually trying to move a little bit out of this state.
Well, why don't I just?
Complete,
no, but I mean, But I mean, maybe fine. But if you're destined to be in this state for your whole life, why don't you just get into a state of mind where you're content, and then I'll kill you, and then in your next life you'll be content.
Okay. Yeah. Fine.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
Yeah, but I don't know when I feel like as soon as I text you and say I'm content.
Yeah, by the time I get there, it'll be a nightmare.
Yeah, but I'll be.
I'm content. Yeah, exactly.
Of course, I'll be like.
You'll be uncontent. Yeah. Okay.
And your timekeeping is so bad.
Yeah.
I need to go.
And also, I don't think this would hold up.
If I'm going to employ a Grim Reaper, he's got to have a better time schedule.
Yeah, but also, I don't think this would hold up in court. If I was like, we had this podcast where we discussed.
No, but this could be my consent.
Yeah, this is your consent.
I will say I will sign this as my formal consent.
Yeah, well, I don't know what your parents will make of it, let alone the court of law.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I might change my mind.
But also...
okay, so how did you die?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think maybe I've got more fully formed answer than you. I mean, not that it's difficult, actually.
What do you mean? That was the most coherent thing to have entered our podcast.
No, but so I was born... When I was born, everyone always says that I wasn't crying. And obviously by everyone, I just mean my mother and father, because no one else was there. But they always like that I wasn't...
That surprises me.
I
really thought you'd have a party when... I can just see you shooting out of the uterus and being like, yo motherfuckers, this is me. Where's the cake?
Yeah, well, it was quite funny. So I did spend the first year of my life crying because I did have colic and stuff. And I had meningitis. And I was in hospital for
meningitis? What? I didn't know
I was in hospital for 6 months. But apparently at the moment of birth, I was... at the moment of birth, I didn't cry. But I was very ill for the first year of my life. So I don't know if I had a real quality rebirth, and maybe I did die in a state of bliss. But then the first year of my life was illness, so that maybe suggests that I did die in a state of duress. And that's why I did illness at the start. So I don't really... Because at the moment I was born...
was really good. You
had
a really good birth.
I was happy. Yeah, I didn't cry or anything. Yeah, I had a really good birth, but then the first year of my life was illness. So I don't know at what point...
So that either shows that there's not much correlation between the birth and the life.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it means that the karma does follow through.
Just follow through.
And you're just a shitty person
before. Yeah, and I was just a shitty person before.
But you maybe very virtuously dealt with your meningitis because of a good rebirth, which allowed you to have positive karma following your meningitis.
Yeah.
Also, you might have just like enjoyed meningitis. We don't understand.
I mean, I don't think anyone enjoys meningitis.
Well, like the thing is, I think one of the most fascinating things is
babies when they're like pretty crying. They're like quite upset when they've got.
Yeah, but we really don't understand what childhood is. No, what childhood is. Like this is for me. This is the most fascinating thing. We don't need to get into it. But just generally, we have no genuine concept of childhood because we've all been through it. None of us remember it, and the
Especially
sources that we have to go to
are highly biased.
No, they don't speak.
What do you mean? Our parents speak?
No, babies are the only people, the genuine sources that we can go to.
I thought you meant sources of our own childhood.
Yeah, but they don't have any understanding of the interior architecture of what we were going through. And everything that they go through, they put it into their own framework.
Okay, so what are you saying? That we should hook up some babies to some computers and record like their thoughts or something?
Or maybe. That must have been done.
Yeah, I don't know about
Why wouldn't that have been done? Like, just
but also
the neurological, like...
But why does childhood have to be more complex than it is? It could just be...
No, but we have this really blissful idea of childhood.
Do we, though?
Yeah, I think we're like, just when we were a child and everything was easy, we didn't need to pay taxes, and like we hadn't been like, brought, face to face with the suffering of this universe and everything like that. It's
and Santa Claus was real.
And Santa Claus... Yeah. Well, before Santa Claus even had form, right? We didn't have the need to believe or disbelieve.
Yeah, because everything was just brought to us,
everything was
Food,
just brought to us.
Yeah.
But most of being a baby is just crying.
No, but also childhood is the same as elderly care. The same care that you give to a child is the same care you give to an elderly patient.
Yeah. And we
bring them food.
Yeah, but we think old age is horrible.
Yeah, so maybe childhood is horrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We don't know what childhood is.
So you're saying it's not blissful?
I don't know what it is. But my point is it's
like
just so unknown. So you might have had an awesome like kick in it, meningitis style, right? But you just will never know.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. So what you're saying is really, for high quality rebirth to occur, you kind of have to be an adult at birth, because childhood is terrible. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
That's not what you're saying.
Huh? I'm saying your answer is not as coherent as you considered it to be.
It's definitely more coherent than yours.
Okay, but you still didn't tell me anything. You haven't said how you died.
Yeah. So if we consider the fact that I didn't cry at birth as a sign that I had a high quality rebirth, then I definitely died in a state of bliss. So maybe I died during sex, or maybe I died at the end of a happy, healthy, long life, surrounded by my friends, or maybe I did just...
This is not precise enough. I told you exactly. I said the octopus strangled my neck.
Yeah, but I'm willing... I don't need to live in a world of absolute truths. I'm happy to live in the uncertainty.
Fine uncertainty, but like give me a precise uncertainty.
Yeah, I did just say it died maybe in sex. Or like,
maybe in sex. What is it maybe in sex?
Or maybe I was like, driving a very fast car. And that's how I found bliss in fast cars. But also, all of these are taking into account that I was human in a past life. Probably wasn't human. Maybe I was a tree or a plant or a fish.
You could still be an octopus with a Ferrari.
Right? Maybe that's what it was.
No, I mean, like in the past life, we can design whatever architecture we want, right? If we're using this situation to imagine our past lives, I'm not obviously not saying that that this has to be like very rigorously defined based on encyclopedic knowledge of human existence.
Yeah,
we're not mapping out the
No, but what I'm saying is actually maybe our past lives aren't as hidden away as we think they are, because they govern our rebirth.
Yeah, they aren't as hidden. Okay. But they seem to be hidden because you're like, maybe there's uncertainty in this, maybe that.
Yeah, but it's also because
it's probably in a car.
Yeah, but it's also I can't remember my birth. That's the biggest problem.
You just told me your birth.
Yeah, but that's still sources by other individuals,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's not really our own.
Yeah. Also, like just because you're not crying, it
doesn't mean you're necessarily happy. Maybe I wasn't crying because
maybe
I was
just repressed.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that explains everything.
Or maybe I was just ill at the time, and I'm like, I didn't know how to express the illness. I only learned how to cry 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah, or your tear ducts came like... Huh? Like people say that after 23 weeks the zygote gets a soul after whatever.
I don't know if I could discuss science with you. I just feel like this is...
Oh, this is science. This is not science.
This is...
Nowhere in science does it say the soul enters the zygote
after
23 weeks. Your scientific knowledge for a pharmacist is
wildly... Yeah, but science is overrated. We're flat earthers now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, exactly. Don't believe in modern medicine.
Wait, but so I'm just saying that the tear ducts maybe entered your body.
Later.
than other people.
Entered my body.
Yeah.
Entered. The tear ducts entered my body.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. As in they weren't always there.
Exactly.
Yeah, just 2 days later came into my life.
Wait, if you can be like whatever, another species in a different in a different planet, driving a car in a past life, I can't have tear ducts entering your body.
Yeah, okay, fine. But also, I do think this is a theory that is a good theory. It's a theory that I'm willing to ascribe a lot of belief to.
Willing to ascribe a lot of belief to anything.
Yeah, any theory that I think... Yeah, but also, I think it's a belief that doesn't really require a lot of buy-in. I think...
Yeah, because you don't really believe it. That's why. Nothing considers buy-in if you pay with Monopoly money.
Yeah, okay.
Like, this is
no, but I do think the state of mind at death does govern our rebirth. Like, that doesn't... I mean, I'm just not willing to believe in a world where our state of mind at death can offset all of the bad karma we do. But, I mean, I suppose it's kind of not really saying that because you can't have that positive a state of mind of death if you've been a dick your whole life.
Yeah. I think I'm on board with you. Like, the state of death definitely has an impact. But I think if we just look at it in a very basic perspective, that, you know, if you don't see the difference between... We're assuming for sure that the afterlife exists and there's another life, right?
Yeah,
so in that assumption...
No, but also, I don't know if we're just skipping the afterlife completely to the rebirth. Or maybe there is no afterlife, right? Maybe just...
But what do you rebirth into?
The next life.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry, that's the after.
The next life is... After is another word for next.
Yeah, exactly, sorry. I thought you meant there was like this space in the afterlife,
okay,
and then there's a rebirth.
Okay,
But you were saying that,
just the next life. Okay.
Yeah.
After this life.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Sorry, I'm just in a fidgeting mood.
So, yeah, basically what I'm saying is... if we don't consider this line between this life and next life to be so, like, bold and, like, broken, that it's actually a much more fluid interaction between the two lives, then it's no different to the general cause and effect basis that govern this life, right?
Yeah.
So if we say the way that we behave today will affect our hangover or whatever tomorrow, if we consider, you know, it's exactly the same premise. Like, however you... And I do feel that if I go to sleep happy, I normally have a better night's sleep and wake up happy the next morning.
Yeah, that's true. But also, I mean, if you go to sleep happy, it's often hard to fall asleep because you're too happy.
No, see, the thing is, your problem is you always equate happiness with this high energy kind of like... It's like, no, but if I'm not in a party, it's because you're just saying
there's contentment. It's contentment.
No, but there can be a gentle contentment. You can just be
but that's
lying
not
on this infinite ocean.
I don't think that's happiness. A gentle contentment is not happiness. Happiness is an extreme of emotion.
Okay, fine. What I'm talking about is when I go to bed when I'm content and happy and peaceful. Not happy, okay, fine, not happy. Like, fine, we got different dictionaries. Okay, peace and contented. I go to bed peace and contented, then I wake up quite peaceful and contented.
And if you go to bed sad, you wake up quite sad, right?
Yeah. And also the quality of sleep is not so good.
Yeah.
So the quality of sleep...
sadness.
But if we, like, conflate the sleep with the rebirth, with the process of moving.
Yeah.
So if today...
Yeah, it becomes tomorrow. Yeah, okay, I get it.
If today is this life and tomorrow is the next life, then the night is the process of rebirth.
Yeah.
Right? And if we use that as a metaphor to understand the afterlife.
Yeah. But then what you're saying at the moment of sleep is actually the governing point, right? Because it can offset everything that you've done during the day.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's not a wildly radical theory because it has some basis in how we actually live
our lives,
or how this world seems to work.
Yeah, but actually...
But also the fluidity between these things.
Yeah, but I mean also, you know, if I kill someone during the day, but I go to sleep in a contented state of mind...
Well, then you're a psychopath.
I still have to deal...
No, you're a psychopath.
No, but I still have to deal with the repercussions of killing someone in the sleep.
Yeah, but you'll probably wake
killing
up...
someone...
No, but the first moment when you wake up, you'll probably be happy, and then you'll be like, oh shit, I killed someone.
Oh, right, yeah, no, that's quite a good point, yeah.
Which is exactly what happened to you. You're like, oh, this is great. Oh, fuck, I got meningitis.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened at my state of birth. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this is nice.
Can't believe you have meningitis.
Yeah, calm down. I'm still here now. I made it to 30.
Yeah, just...
Yeah.
You still haven't learned how to cry, though.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, but neither have I.
Yeah, well, it's because I spent the first year of my life crying. I don't really need to cry anymore.
Oh, so you cried the whole year? Oh, yeah, because you had meningitis.
Yeah, exactly.
So how many days were you not crying for?
My parents didn't keep a tally of what days I cried and what days I didn't cry.
But what is it?
How would I possibly know how many long I was crying?
Are all babies born crying?
Apparently.
Jeez.
I've only seen a few births.
So really, as far from the information you've given me, the idea that tear ducts entered your being after a few days is the most
that's nothing,
working theory.
Nothing about this podcast is logical. I think your theory on sleep is very logical, though.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think sleep. Yeah, okay, and we do use sleep in that way.
In what way?
To offset everything we've done during the day.
Yeah, but it does work to reset things sometimes.
Yeah, but also, when a lot of people keep those gratitude journals, don't they? And it is to try and get to a state of contentment before sleep, so that they can wake up in a happier state of mind, right?
Yeah. I keep an envy journal.
You keep an envy. I'm telling you, envy is the future.
The last podcast.
We're not having the envy discussion again.
Okay, wait. So just tell me before we end this, like the scenario of how you believe you genuinely died. You can't don't give me like car accident, sex,
Fine. I generally believe I died in a state of bliss.
A state of bliss doing what?
I don't know what I was doing, but I know it was a state of bliss.
Bliss. That's so such a boring
Fine. I died. I died. Doing something that I loved, and it was beautiful. And what it was that I loved, I haven't quite figured out yet. But if I do figure it out, I'll let you know.
But bliss. Okay.
Yeah. Well, how did you die? If you had to just say one word, the emotion that was the governing emotion when you died in your past life.
I mean, I guess bliss seems to come
You
to
can't
mind as
copy
well.
me. What's the point of copying me?
It just seems no, but it's like that. I said it. Squirrelhood. I died in squirrelhood.
Yeah, and if anyone's listening, please email us and let us know how you died in their previous life. The state of mind that you died in your previous life.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We only take absolution as our currency.
Only one word. Exactly. No. Anyway, thank you for listening.